This past weekend, 30 million Americans should have received a payment via the extended child tax credit. But those payments never happened because, of course, they expired in December. They should have been extended as part of the Build Back Better Act. They were a part of the package, but there was one individual who was so appalled by these payments, objected to them so harshly, that 30 million Americans lost that money that many had considered to be, quote, a godsend. And of course, that one individual is Joe Manchin, senator from West Virginia, who has apparently hated these extended child tax credit payments since they started being handed out last July. As part of the ongoing negotiations that were taking place with the Build Back Better Act, Manchin repeatedly said he wanted to scale down the number of people that received these tax credit payments. He wanted to lower the income threshold so fewer people would receive them. He also, at one point, was toying with the idea of putting work requirements on there, saying that if you don't have a job, you don't get the money. Because, why give it to the people who need it the most because they already can't make ends meet because they don't have a job? And of course, we also know that behind closed doors, he was telling his colleagues that, these people are probably spending the money on drugs anyway. Well, that's not true. And of course, we've done a story on the fact that most people spent it paying bills. Some people actually were able to put it in savings. But for the most part, the vast majority of them spend it on bills, medical expenses, food for their family, things like that. Basically being able to get by without having to sacrifice elsewhere. And that's the point. Without having to sacrifice elsewhere, because for a brief moment in time, they had enough money to get by. For 6 months, they were doing better than they had ever done. This payment lifted millions of children out of poverty here in the United States, and Joe Manchin is the reason we don't have it today. So that's the human aspect of it, right? That is the human side of it, and that's why it's so important. And that is the most important reason. But let's talk about the political side of this, right? Imagine being so friggin' stupid, knowing that your party is already headed for a really bad midterm experience this coming November, and then saying, you know what, for the hell of it, what if we literally took money out of people's pockets too? What if we stopped giving them this monthly payment that was lifting millions out of poverty? Do you think that's going to play well with voters when they go to cast their ballots in November? Or do you think it's probably going to piss more people off saying, well, we had a nice run there. For a while, I didn't have to not go buy my medication. But the Democrats, and yes, it was the Democrats, took it away from me. And sure, you could make an argument that, well, no, Republicans supported it either. No, they didn't. They didn't support it either. So yeah, Republicans are horrible, but Republicans are expected to be horrible. The Democratic Party, with control of the Senate, with a majority in the House, and with controlling the White House, they were expected to deliver. And the few little bitty things they did deliver have been taken away by people like Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema. In an election year, you took money directly out of people's pockets, sent millions spiraling back towards poverty. You're going to get destroyed in the midterms, Democrats. And for letting people like Manchin and Sinema call the shots to screw over Americans, it's getting harder and harder to say that you don't deserve it. This is Hattie. Hattie wants to know why you have not subscribed to our channel. You obviously like our videos, so do us a favor and subscribe.